How's everybody doing? This here is Backwoods Billy coming to you from the beautiful Delmarva Eastern Shore. Coming to you about a Back Bay Brewing Company out of Virginia Beach. They have a red ale called False Cape Ale. And because my eyes aren't that good without my glasses here, I'm going to read this off the back underneath the thing. It says, in colonial times, False Capes gained reputation for being a ship graveyard from the Atlantic Ocean. The landmass resembled Cape Henry, an entrance to the Chesapeake Bay. Ships and their navigators were lured into shallow waters where more often than not they ran aground. Survivors built a community with the cypress wood that washed ashore from the shipwrecks, creating one of the first communities in Virginia named Washed Woods. Again, this is False Cape Ale, Back Bay Brewing, which is out of Virginia Beach, and it is proudly brewed and bottled by St. George Brewing Company, Hampton, Virginia, for Back Bay Beer Company, Virginia Beach. Now, there is another Back Bay in Ocean City, Maryland. I have not, as of yet, been there. I did have the opportunity to pick up this beer. It is approximately $8 to $10 a six-pack, depending where you pick it up at. Now, a couple of points of interest to me. The 5.2% is on the bottom of the bottle for alcohol. There is no IBUs. It'd be nice to know that. A lot of companies don't do that. But I'm going to give Back Bay some advice for free. If you're listening, it's nice to know what kind of beer it is. If you haven't had the beer before, on your little stories that are nice on the bottle and on the six-pack, nowhere does it say on the case, the six-pack, or the bottle that this is a red ale. So unless you have either been to the brewery before, the person at the liquor store is knowledgeable, let me tell you that's a crapshoot sometimes, or you have an app, you can look it up, which is something I just looked it up online and saw what it was. But anyway, I wanted to try it, give it a try. Now, you can serve this, typically a red ale would be served in this type of glass, a typical pub glass that you're going to see here. Now, if you want to trap the aromas in, we're outside. I have a beer coaster instead of a plastic bag. You can do that. It's a nice thing. You can get a better whiff of the aroma. And anybody that hasn't seen the videos before, in essence, taste, you only have 5 senses, and you have over 200 senses aroma. And also, your eyes can play visual tricks as well. Here's a little tip for somebody to try at home. You can get something called Knox Jello, which is for kids. It's a finger gelatin. And you can, it's no flavor whatsoever to it. Try it, there's none. You can put yellow food dye in part of one, make a tray of that, one with orange, one with red, one with green. So do yellow, red, orange, green, and cut up in little square pieces and feed them to people. And this is an interesting psychology experiment we did when I was in college. And basically what happens is the psychology of color, automatically you taste orange with orange. People taste strawberry, cherry, apple. Most people are cherry or strawberry with the red. Lemon with the yellow. And the green typically is lime, so we'll taste apple. But anyway, there is no flavor, which is just the food coloring. So it's an idea that your body automatically perceives something. So visualization is a big part of it as well. What we're going to do is we're going to pop the bottle top, and I'm going to give them 2 thumbs up because it is a good old-fashioned pop top, and there's a nice pop to that, so it was sealed very well. It's coming up, which means it's starting to warm up outside. We're in spring. This is my second review without my patented zero-proof, waterproof orange hunting suit, but we're going to go with this because it does get kind of cold down here. But we're going to go with this right now. This is a red ale. We're going to do a pour and get a little head to it. The idea here is you want to see if the head lasts, and also with the aromas. Now, I had a few of these beers, obviously. Now, right off the bat, you're getting the malty, the caramel malt, the biscuit malt, and the sweetness of the malt. So mainly the caramel malts you're getting out of it. The color is a beautiful, I'd say light to medium amber, more on the light side. You say a medium range, light medium amber color. So it's in the range of a typical red ale, 5.2, again in that range of alcohol. I would say bittering in here probably 15 to 20, and that's hard to say. I'd probably, just because of the fact it's not listed, depending on how much malt's used and the bittering can be countered, blah, blah, blah. But that's typically what you would see with beer like this. And some reds only have like 8 to 10. Okay, now, the aroma of this is excellent. The lacing is and the head retention is not really there. However, the color is good. It has nice effervescence to it as far as there's little bubbles coming up. The aroma is, like I said, dead on. The taste is good. You get the caramel, very nice sweet malt from the caramel malt. You get the nice biscuity, not quite crack, more like a biscuity type flavor from it as well. And then you have a nice clean finish because there is some bittering to the hops that actually cancel some of the sweetness out. But it finishes not dry and not completely sweet, but very well balanced. The mouthfeel on this is in the medium range, but heading towards lighter on that scale. So you are in a red ale. Again, the sweet caramel, the biscuity, nice mouthfeel, very well balanced. They did a good job with this beer. It's in the price range of most craft beers, and I believe with the location, Ocean City and Virginia Beach, both tourist traps, they should do very well. My only advice is it's nice to know what kind of beer you're buying, just because the package is red. It could be anything. I mean, it could be a stout, it could be a porter, you know, it could be an Indian Pale Ale, who freaking knows. It just says ale, and a lot of people are confused. All ale means is basically that it was fermented with a top fermenting yeast, whereas a lager is a bottom fermenting yeast, and that's the difference right there. And by the way, anybody that hasn't thought about it, that wants to know more about craft beer, is just starting to get into it or has been, and is trying to find some things out, try some home brewing. You'll actually learn a lot when you brew a few beers yourself. If you brew a red, you brew a pale ale, you brew a stout, brew a porter. Lagers are difficult, and you can do it with all grain or start out like a Mr. Beer kit, and people say, I've seen online, Mr. Beer sucks. No, it doesn't. First of all, Cooper's, which is a very large brewery in Australia, makes the ingredients for them, and basically it's a liquid malt extract. And all the time, the yeast is all the same. Okay, most yeast, unless you know what you're doing, is the same. As a matter of fact, it's baker's yeast, so you can get into different types of yeast to add flavors to them, but it's more of a proprietary yeast in which somebody has developed it. There's a few out there like banana flavors, fruit flavors, blah, blah, blah. Some are considered off flavors in certain beers, so you have to be very, very careful. I'll get more into yeast. Lager yeast is different. It's the same family. It's just a cousin, and it splits off. And hence the Ringgold Act in Germany of the pure beer, because the bakers and the brewers were battling over ingredients. So it limited the ingredients, thereby helping the bakers out. Because, in essence, it was a big deal for bread, for food. Beer back then was also considered a food because it was different to the day of live beer. In essence, you had nourishment from it. Again, very good beer. I did leave some information on it. It's out of Virginia Beach. You can look it up online at, all I did is type in Back Bay, Brewery, Virginia Beach, and then I also typed in False Cape Ale from Back Bay, and they both came up on Google search. I have seen some reviews about this beer. Is that the eagle? I can't tell. A couple of eagles at home. This might be a turkey also. Anyway, this is what a red ale should be. It's definitely there. For the money, it's well worth it. And it's a Backwoods Billy 2 thumbs up. Now, like I said, when you judge a beer, you need to understand what the category is and judge it for that category. If you like an Indian Pale Ale, then you shouldn't judge a red against Indian Pale or a stout against. If you like a stout, you shouldn't judge. You get to pick each category and see if it hits all the notes. The color is there. The flavor notes are there. Finish is clean. It's medium light body, 5.2% alcohol, all within that realm. Now, you can make it higher alcohol, and again, that's something once you get into brewing, where you start tasting more beers, you'll get into that. Those that have done that already know that. One of the things I advise anybody starting out to do, if you get an opportunity, to go to a beer festival, $40 a ticket, $25 a ticket, $50, whatever, not a bad idea to taste some beers. However, there are a lot of liquor stores that sell growlers. You can go in there and they'll generally have tastings that you can see, and they rotate the beer taps. It's a good way to try different styles of beer to see what you like. Also, a lot of these craft breweries, when you go there, they'll give you samples. For example, you know, you're looking at Evo here, Chesapeake, which isn't very open very often around here. Chesapeake Brewing, Dogfish. Trying to think where else I get a lot of. Third Way is a big one we go to. All of them will give you like little samples of the beer, and you can get a glass for like $5. And if you decide to buy a growler, they'll sell you a growler. And if your liquor store doesn't have this and you want to try it, you can definitely generally get them to order it. And you should. I mean, I shop at probably over a dozen liquor stores. I can tell you there's about 4 that know what they're doing, and of which one of those only if the owner's there. Matter of fact, I walked into that store, and one of the employees told me, and I quote, he doesn't drink any import beers, and that these are foreign beers, and from foreign to find that. He goes, well, they're from another country. Okay, so automatically I'm like, oh, really? And the one brew is right down the freaking road. But anyway, so a lot of times people that are there don't know what they're talking about. There are ones that do. Cheers in this area, the Wine Rack, very knowledgeable. Thirsties, very knowledgeable. I don't think the place in Virginia we go to. You know what it's called? There's a Cheers, but there's a little store. Some people are and some aren't, and they should be, because the liquor distributors educate these people. They actually give them special tasting at the distributors. Like twice a year they come in, and anything new that comes out, they taste it. That way they'll pick it up, and they give them a lot of background information. If you want more on any of these beers, go online, look them up. There's not too much about this one. And me personally, if I do a review, I don't really care what somebody else says, because if you like one beer, you may not like. I like all styles of beer. And if you had to ask me which my favorite style, I'm going to tell you a stout, and then a porter, and that's more on the sweet side. But my wife will tell you I drink a lot of Indian Pale Ales, double Indian Pale Ales. I drink a lot of reds, sours, Belgian ales. You pretty much name it. I like all beer. Also, an economic beer, Natty Boh, drink that as well. Pabst, Corona. But I love craft beer, connoisseur. Again, Back Bay Brewing Company, 2 thumbs up from Backwoods Billy. It nailed it.